Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden science that makes our homes feel, well, like home. It's all the invisible stuff that makes the space feel just right. Let's dive in.
You've totally felt this, right? You walk into a room and you immediately feel relaxed, comfortable. Then you walk into another and something just feels off. You can't quite put your finger on it. Well, spoiler alert, it's not magic, it's building science. And we're about to uncover its biggest secrets.
Okay, first up, let's start with the most basic thing we feel, temperature. It's easy to take for granted that our homes keep us warm when it's cold and cool when it's hot, but behind the scenes, there is a constant, invisible battle being fought for our comfort. So, this idea of thermal comfort isn't just about what the thermostat says. It's a scientific term for when your body is in perfect heat balance with its surroundings. It's not having to generate too much heat or shed too much heat. When that balance is off, you feel it, you feel stressed. A well-designed building's number one job is to keep you in that sweet spot. Think of your house kind of like it's a living thing. It's always interacting with the outside world, exchanging heat. Heat is constantly trying to sneak in through the walls on a hot day or escape out through the windows on a cold one. Your home is basically in a tug of war with Mother Nature 24/7. So how do architects win this tug of war? Well, they have a few secret weapons. They look at everything: the size of the walls and windows, what those walls are actually made of, the local weather patterns, and even how many people and gadgets will be inside generating heat. It's a huge, complex puzzle to solve for your comfort. But of course, being comfortable is so much more than just temperature. A building also has to let in the good stuff. So let's talk about two things we literally can't live without: light and air. You know, it sounds so simple, but it's a really powerful idea. A building has to breathe. Good ventilation brings in fresh air from outside and pushes out the stale air from inside. Without it, you get a buildup of all kinds of nasty stuff: pollutants, odors, carbon dioxide. A building that breathes is a building that's healthy. It's as simple as that. And there are basically two ways to make this happen. You've got natural ventilation, which is exactly what it sounds like, just opening a window. That's great for most houses. But for bigger, more complicated buildings like a huge office or a factory, you need mechanical ventilation. Think fans and ducts to make absolutely sure you're getting a controlled, consistent flow of fresh air everywhere. And just like air, you have to get the light right. But it's not just about making a room bright. Good lighting has rules. It shouldn't flicker. It shouldn't create a harsh glare that makes you squint. It shouldn't cast weird shadows that get in your way. These little details make a massive difference in how a space actually feels to be in. All right, we've covered what we feel and what we see. Now, let's talk about what we hear. Or maybe more importantly, what we don't want to hear. The science of controlling sound is honestly one of the most underrated parts of making a home feel like a sanctuary. You see, there's a really important difference between sound and noise. Sound is just a vibration in the air, but noise is unwanted sound. It's the sound that gets on your nerves, makes it hard to have a conversation, and just drags down your whole day. And this isn't just about being a little annoyed. No, noise has real, measurable consequences. It genuinely makes us irritated, it messes with our sleep, it can physically harm our hearing over time, and it makes it hard to just talk to each other. It's a legitimate threat to our health and happiness. So, if noise is this constant enemy, from traffic outside, the neighbors next door, even sounds inside our own home, how do architects actually fight back? How do they protect us? Well, they use a whole toolbox of tricks. They start by trying to put distance between you and the noise source, like not putting a bedroom window right next to a busy road. Inside, they get clever with the layout, using things like closets as sound buffers between rooms. And finally, they use soft, sound-absorbing materials like carpets and curtains to soak up any remaining sound. So we've fought the battle for temperature, we've managed the air and the light, and we've quieted the noise. But there's one last invisible enemy that every single building has to defend against every single day, and that's moisture. You might think the biggest threat is fire or wind, but in many ways, the single most destructive force a building faces is plain old water. It doesn't just stain the walls, it attacks the very strength and integrity of the whole structure.
And water is so sneaky. It gets in ways you wouldn't even imagine. Look at this. On the left, something called capillary action can literally suck water upwards into tiny cracks in the brickwork, defying gravity. And on the right, you can see how strong winds can create enough pressure to physically push rain straight through a solid wall. It's relentless.
And once water gets in, it's a complete disaster. It makes bricks and stone crumble, plaster turn to mush, and wood warp and rot. It rusts metal fixtures and creates the perfect, damp, dark home for fungus, mold, and even termites. It is a silent destroyer.
And this quote here really says it all. The fight against dampness isn't just about saving the building itself. It's about protecting the people inside from unhealthy, unhygienic conditions. A dry home is a safe home. Period.
So the next time you're sitting in a room and you just feel good, take a second, notice the quiet, feel the even temperature. You're not just relaxing, you're experiencing the successful result of all this hidden science. So my question to you is, after this, what's the first thing you're going to notice about your own home that you've never, ever seen before?